This is Locked On Sports Minnesota podcast. It's endless Minnesota Timberwolves talk with the diverse voices of your local experts. It's time for the Minnesota Basketball Party on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello. Happy Wednesday and welcome into the Minnesota Basketball Party on Locked On Sports Minnesota. We appreciate you watching today on the Locked On Sports Minnesota YouTube channel. Please subscribe and get notified when we have a new show. We've also got the Minnesota football parties here on Monday and Thursday, Ron Johnson show on Tuesdays, and our roundtable on Fridays. You can also listen to us on the Locked On Wolves audio feed. You can get your Wolves fix wherever you find your podcasts. We'll meet the crew in just 1 second for today's show, and it's a packed show once again, talking number one seed Minnesota Timberwolves. But we are brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 if your bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. Wolves have won 2 in a row. They beat the Nets on Saturday. They beat the Spurs last night, and they're still tied with the Thunder atop the West. How many wins will it take to win the West? We'll get into that, and we'll go back and discuss the petty beef at the end of the Nets game between Mike Conley and Dennis Schroder. That was weird. And, of course, we'll predict the week ahead with 4 Wolves home games. That's all to come on the Minnesota Basketball Party. But let's meet our panel today with our opening tip.
I'm Jack Borman, editor-in-chief at Canis, co-host of the Locked On Wolves postcast with my man Luke Inman. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about why Rudy Gobert is the king of the little things and how all those little things add up over the course of a game and is really helping driving winning for the Timberwolves right now.
Rudy Gobert, noted leg massager, Sam. But I'm Reggie Wilson, sports director at Care 11. And the Wolves' offensive struggles, they go away. They go away if Ant is Ant.
I'm Ron Johnson, former Gopher and NFL wide receiver, Josh McCown apologist, but I am going to talk about why this shoe here saved the Timberwolves season. Anthony Edwards, it could all went bad, but this right here protected that ankle. Also, Kirk Cousins wears Adidas too, and we see what he's doing right now. So I'm going to explain all that.
And for those listening, Ron's got the shoe in his hand, and he's treating it like a telephone. It's all very bizarre.
Check out YouTube, people. You could see it. It's beautiful. Huh? Oh, okay. All right.
Still got
Quavo.
the tag on
Quavo
it.
wanted to know what's going on.
Fresh out of the box. Can't wait to get to Ron on that. But let's visit the Spurs game last night, and maybe we can talk about the Anthony Edwards ankle injury scare. I said on the postcast last night, I pinch hit on the postcast with Luke Inman. I said, give Edwards the Oscar now for acting in a horror film, because it was a horror-inducing moment. Fans were covering their eyes. They were gasping. It looked like he was done. Is it his Achilles? Is it a high ankle sprain? What's going on? He's fine. He's fine. Just wanted a little extended halftime action. That's all. And the Wolves beat the Spurs 114-105. Ant scores 34. He explodes in the third quarter. Wolves led by as many as 24 in the fourth until the Spurs trimmed it to 6 and covered the spread, Ron Johnson. I knew you were going to be right about that too, even though I said the opposite. But Jack Borman, you were at the game. Let's get your take on Wolves Spurs last night.
Yeah, I was. And probably my favorite part, Reg, was Rudy Gobert testing Anthony Edwards' Achilles while he was on the ground. That was fantastic. But yeah, Naz Reid in the locker room called it a Paul Pierce moment for Anthony Edwards to get carried off the court, and says that he's just never worried when this happens to Ant. But I was most impressed with Rudy Gobert in this game. I think that, every little thing that Rudy does was just on full display in this one. I mean, it started out with the way that he was defending Victory Wembanyama. He got up in Wemby's face. He was physical. He took away his space. And then when Wemby drove, he forced Wemby to the middle of the floor where he had help, and the Wolves' length could really make more of an impact. And then he has 17 rebounds on a night that karl-Anthony Towns is out. And Kyle Anderson, who's been a very good rebounder for the Timberwolves since the trade deadline, missed the second half with left hamstring tightness. And then just on the back line of the defense does an awesome job of communicating, telling guards when, kick back out to shooters, telling guys, how to rotate so that the team doesn't miss rotations and give up wide open shots. He had 4 blocks. All of them were on mid-range jump shots, which is pretty incredible. But offensively as well, it was really important in that Wemby was sagging off Gobert early on in this game. Timberwolves started Kyle Anderson in for Karl-Anthony Towns. So the Timberwolves spacing was a problem in the first few minutes of the game. They only scored like 10 points in the first 6 minutes, but then Gobert started setting a ton of off-ball screens, kind of like what the Warriors do with Draymond Green, where they'll have the center sag off Draymond. So Draymond just goes and sets a ton of screens to get open looks for shooters for Steph and Clay, because if that guy's sagging so far, there's not anybody there to contest the shot if he sets a good screen. So he did a ton of that, opened up a ton of open shots for his teammates. He had 8 screen assists in this game. For context, Sabonis leads the league in screen assists per game at 6 per game. So 8 is a great number for Rudy on a night like tonight. And then you see all those give and goes he did with Ant, and the handoff game just created a ton of space to help get Ant going downhill. And that was, really how Ant took control of the game was getting into the paint with that open runway that guys like Rudy helped create for him. And then he also had 6 offensive rebounds. And what was really just an impactful game for Rudy, and all those little things that, may be hard to notice when you're watching the game, or you don't think too much about because they aren't highlight plays. They really do add up and can help take a tie game to a 5-point lead, a 5-point lead to a 10-point lead, and a 10-point lead, all the way up to a 24-point lead or whatever it was early in that fourth quarter before Ron got his wish. So just a really impressive victory for Rudy, who also had 2 dunks on Wembanyama, which I'm sure was fun for him.
Reg.
Yeah, it was interesting. I said on Carol 11 last night that Rudy was like trying to show Wemby. He's like, hey, look, I'm the man in France. Okay, you just got here. I've been here. Dunking all over him like that. So it was fun to just kind of see Rudy seemingly just kind of get up for a game like that, because Wemby is like one of his kind of like mentees, if you will. So that was a lot of fun. It was a little scary though. These scary things happen with Ant, from time to time, and it's just like, oh shoot. But like, I think the degree in which he like sold it, and it just really seemed like he was in agony, really just kind of made it feel like maybe it was different. I know like fans were panicking online, and I'm just like, oh Lord.
The freeze frame picture of the ankle like mid-turn
was
sending everyone into a panic.
Yeah, it was just like, oh Lord, have mercy. And so Rudy's just like, hold on, let me see. Let me touch it. Let me feel it. Okay, is it good? Is it all there? Okay, yeah. Calf meat is intact. Yeah, you're all right. Get up. Get to the locker room. We'll see you in a few minutes. That was like a weird sequence, but I mentioned in the opening tip, like I understand like it wasn't the most efficient night for Ant, and he only got to the free throw line 4 times, which I know that continues to be a frustration for him, because he believes that he's fouled a lot more than he's getting called for. And I think it's just because he's so big and strong and just determined to finish all the time and doesn't sell it like a James Harden or, some of these other guys who get the benefit of the calls. But this offense has struggled for most of the year to be consistent. And I was a little concerned last night when we saw, that Cat was going to be out for personal reasons. I'm like, oh man, I'm not sure. Because, the Spurs have had times where they've been able to kind of run it up, from a shooting standpoint. And so I'm like, I don't know. We'll see who's going to pick it up. And it's funny because when Finch started slow-mo, I'm like, of course. Like, he can't quit him, man. He's like Kevin O'Connell and Alexander Madison. They just can't quit each other. They love each other so much. And fans were just like, get him out of there. And when he went out with the hamstring tightness, everybody was just like, all right, let him be out for the rest of the year. Like, let him get lost on his way to the arena for the rest of the season. Like, fans do not like care for slow-mo anymore. It's been a stark just kind of turn on him from one year to the next. And so it was kind of interesting because I thought that Nas would get the start, and Nas was his efficient self, 8 for 10 from the floor. What was it, 22 points, plus 8 when he was on the floor, 6 boards, 2 steals, a block, like just continues to be just a consistent person. I don't know if we could say much more about Naz Reid, but he definitely just kind of fills in where, you know, they lose some of the scoring from not having Cat out there, or Rudy, you know, kind of having to get set up for his own shots and all that. But it's a really good thing for the Wolves when Nas is cooking. And with Nas, and then if Ant is just continuing to be aggressive, the Wolves can do well, which we saw last night. That sequence that really just kind of put the icing on the cake, with Ant hitting the 3 in the corner, going back on the other end, getting the steal, coming back down, dunk you very much. Like, that was an electric sequence. And you know, ankle injury or not, you're going to get the best effort from Ant on a night in and night out basis. And if he can just continue to be consistent with his shot making and playmaking ability, like, this Wolves team can continue to be dangerous and can try to continue to hold on to that number 1 seed.
Ron Johnson.
Yeah, so when I look at this game, I know, Sam, we talked about it yesterday on the Ron Johnson show. 13.5 seem high to me. The only reason is because we kind of looked at all the other games against the Spurs, and none of them this year have been a blowout. So I was kind of worried. I also said the same thing. I think, I kept trying to talk myself into it. I'm like, even with the lead, the Timberwolves will find a way. They'll find a way to let them back in the game. Didn't know how, didn't know what. So when I saw Cat was resting for personal reasons, my guess, load management, I was like, oh, here we go. This might even be a loss. This might be the 1 and 2 we were hoping would happen. Then I started seeing Twitter videos, because I was out, of Anthony Edwards hitting the ground. And then when I realized it, Sam, this might be the best marketing thing I've ever seen in my life. Because if you guys don't know, March 1st, Anthony Edwards, the new wave, white-black version comes out. That's probably the hottest one, like the Jordan patent leather. You got the white-black Anthony Edwards coming out. And could you imagine a social media commercial with Anthony Edwards going down, grabbing at the ankle, and then running back out, slow-mo of the white shoe, coming back out, looking like he strapped it up tighter. He's in the back shooting a video. Because, yeah, he might have wanted some extra halftime. He's probably in the back shooting the video, grimacing. He's got Rudy Gobert in the commercial massaging him. And then all of a sudden, they give him a new pair of shoes and they just put these on. That didn't work. And he straps them up, goes out, boom, March 1st, shoe launches, it sells out. That's cinematic. I think Anthony Edwards is playing up to the crowd, playing up to the shoe release. And it's just because every Twitter doctor in the world, oh, it's an Achilles. I've seen this before. Shut up. It's not. He was just doing it for the gram. And we know that the young kids do that. And Anthony Edwards is just part of the new wave, which is why that's the shoe called the new wave. So I go there, though. I think the game, this game, too, without Cat, Anthony Edwards kind of stepped up, put the cape on, showed that he is who he is. Stephen A. Smith on the Stephen A.'s A-list he put him in the top 5 finally now. Anthony Edwards is one of the top 5 most impactful players that he thinks is going to be down the stretch for their team in the playoff. I think he was too low because he put Zach Randall at 4 and Anthony Edwards at 5. Lay off the weed. Like, there's no way you can say Zach Randall is more impactful to his team than Anthony Edwards is to his. Like, stop it. But I get it. Minnesota, not a big market. So my other reaction to the game is just Victor Wembanyama. I said that too, Sam, as far as like throwing multiple guys out. And I think Rudy Gobert showed the length. He just showed, you know what? I'm tall too. I got long arms. He is quick off the dribble, but Rudy Gobert shows he can guard him. Now, the next step for Rudy Gobert is being able to handle Jokic and Chet. And then same thing, switching up guys, guard multiple guys. I like this Timberwolves team when you look at Naz Reid and Jaden McDaniels and Rudy Gobert, along with Cat. Cat didn't play, so they didn't even need him. But along with those 3 defenders, which probably frees Cat up from not getting 4 fouls early. And I think that's going to be the key down the stretch too, is when he plays in games, mentally he can't get out of them with fouls. And so it was good to see the team play without him last night, and Anthony Edwards put the cape on.
And Ron, one thing on the shoes, I did talk to Ant after the game, and he does think that the shoes are preventing him from having worse injuries. Do you think that ankle turn he had in Chicago last year that caused him to miss 5 or 6 games? He thought that he would have been back in the game.
I mean, look at the technology on the bottom of the sole. It just protects the roll, like it just rolls with you. Like, it got the ankle lock, the heel lock. I mean, it just
find someone that looks at you the way that Ron looks at Ant's shoes. I was struck.
I might even hoop in these today, just to you know what? Because like it might be a 25-point day for me today. I might hoop in these today or tomorrow.
Ron's going to be trying to see if he can turn his ankle just to see how the shoe holds up. Shout
out to Ant though. I need the white ones. I need the white black ones, man. He'll hook me up. Let me get that.
At Anthony Edwards. I don't know what your handle is.
At 3 Ron Johnson.
It's
I think he has like 1 Anthony Edwards _ at the end, which is so weird.
Yeah, with the number. I don't get the underscore. I was really impressed with the way the Wolves attacked Wemby. And I think Wemby got under their skin early with the razzle dazzle behind the back, off the backboard attempt. I think that kind of put him on notice, and no one wants to get posterized by a 7'5" guy. So Rudy was super aggressive, but also they were throwing lobs over Wemby. Nas was attacking him. Mike Conley was faking him out on a pump fake. Like, they were just really aggressive against Wemby, and I thought he totally shrunk against the Wolves' physicality and pressure because he was invisible for basically 3/4 of this game, and then he got a lot of garbage production. But really impressive performance, I thought, for 3.5 quarters by the Wolves until that lead got down to 6 in the last minute, and he starts sweating a little bit. But the Wolves get it done and remain in a tie atop the West. Let's put a number to how many wins the Wolves will need to claim the West against a red-hot Thunder team. Clippers and Nuggets not far behind either. That's coming up on the Minnesota Basketball Party. We are brought to you today by BetterHelp. Sometimes we need the opportunity to get things off our chest. Big, small, certain things can really get to you. We get worked up on this show. We get worked up about Anthony Edwards faking injuries and Rudy Gobert. Sometimes he can't hang on to the ball. We get worked up about that, and we rant, and it all seems very important to us in the context of this Minnesota Basketball Party show. Well, there are other things in your life that might be more important than sports that you want to let out to somebody that's unbiased about your life and can help you process through things. So let me tell you about BetterHelp, because therapy can be different for everyone. And you might have bigger problems than your favorite sports teams. And if you want to talk, you want to give it a try, BetterHelp is entirely online. It's designed to be flexible, suited to your schedule. You can always reschedule if you have a conflict at no cost. You can find the perfect therapist for you. BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA to get 10% off your first month. BetterHelp.com/LockedOnNBA to get 10% off your first month. BetterHelp, HELP.com/LockedOnNBA. We are also presented today by Stitch Fix. You know that instant confidence boost you get from an outfit that makes you look really good? That's what I get with Stitch Fix. That's the boost that Ron Johnson gets when he's got on Anthony Edwards shoes. Easily upgrade your wardrobe this year with a professional stylist that helps you find new on-trend favorites that will work for you. Give them your size, style, and budget preference, and you get boxes when you want, how you want, no subscription required. They send 5 just for you pieces, plus outfit recommendations and pro styling advice. And they always nail it. They have this knack for sending you exactly what's going to make you look so good. And it's all so easy. And if you don't like to shop, Stitch Fix is the perfect thing for you. Shipping, returns, exchanges, always free. It's style that makes you feel as good as you look. Get started today at stitchfix.com/lockedon, stitchfix.com/lockedon, stitchfix.com/lockedon. All right, coming out of the All-Star break, the Minnesota Timberwolves have won 2 of 3. The Oklahoma City Thunder, meanwhile, have won 4 convincing basketball games, including over the Rockets last night by 17. They're tied with the Wolves atop the West. I don't think they're going away. I think the Nuggets are going to keep surging. I think the Clippers are going to be right there. It's going to require a Herculean effort to be the 1 seed in the West. I want a number. How many wins will it take? with 24 to go. The Wolves have 24 games left. Reggie Wilson, what do they need to win the West, and why do you think so?
So, what is it, 24 games left? I think at first I was like 20. And I'm like, I don't know if that's gonna work out too much. But I think I'll go 15 or 16, just because like I have seen that the Thunder are surging right now, and the Clippers down the stretch can probably get hot, and the Nuggets are still the Nuggets. So I think 15 or 16 might get them there. And it's so crazy to even talk about this, because this was not something that I thought would be something that they were even in play for at this point of the season. Like, I thought that they may be in play for like a 3 or 4 seed, which still could be the case depending on how the season kind of plays out. But this team has clearly shown that they are one of the best teams in the NBA. And so if they can continue to try to figure out this offensive flow and not be stuck in the mud in some games, and really just kind of take it to all the teams that they're playing. I think last night was only Cat's second game missed all season, and we saw he missed 50+ last year, which is a good sign. And so I think if they can continue to kind of get the offensive flow together and get in a rhythm to go along with the top-notch defense that they've been playing all season, I think that 15 or 16 is something that's doable.
So you think 56, 57 wins is the number to get to in the end. Ron, what do you think?
Well, I'm just looking at the Thunder schedule, and Reggie's right. Other teams could surge, but if I'm just going to go off of what the Thunder are doing right now, because they do have a slight lead over other teams, and so when you look at the rest of the West, they both are at 41 games right now, wins. You got the Nuggets at 39, so again, they could surge. You got the Clippers at 37, they could surge. But the biggest difference is if the Clippers win 15, it doesn't matter, because the Timberwolves only need to win 13 or 12, vice versa, or same, Nuggets, same thing. When you look at the Pelicans, Suns, Kings, Mavs in the playoffs right now, and you look at who the Thunder have, the tough games they have right now, they have 12 easy wins on their schedule. If you look at, like, nothing against the Jazz, but if you look at the Jazz, the Rockets, the Lakers, even I put as an easy win for the Thunder just because of how the Lakers have been playing lately. You got the Spurs, I think, is an easy win for the Thunder. Their tough ones are, and then the Rockets, of course, were 2 easy wins for them. But when you look at, and they still have the Rockets again at the end, so you make that another easy win. You look at their tough games, the Suns, the Heat, the Pacers, the Mavs. I throw the Bucks in there now because I think Doc's got it together. They got the Suns again. They got the Knicks. They got the Sixers. They got the Celtics, Pacers, and Hornets and Kings down the stretch. So that's where the Thunder and the Timberwolves can get help from them. They have the look of a team right now, because Shea, we saw his poem, 2 is not enough for me besides my jersey. I want to be number 1. They're showing it. But down that stretch, Pacers, Celtics, Sixers, Kings, that could be a nice little, and they have the Suns. So they have the Suns, Knicks, Sixers, Celtics, Pacers. That's a crazy stretch of games. And so that's going to be of value to the Timberwolves to hope that those teams can knock them off and give them at least 8 losses. So if that's the 8 losses they take, I say the Timberwolves have to win probably 17 games. Like 17 is a safe number for them, looking at what the Thunder face, because they have 12 coming for sure that they're going to win. Those other ones are the ones where, you split with the tough teams. That puts them at about 16 wins. So if they win 16, the Timberwolves got to win 17. So I'm going with 17.
So 58 total. That would match the last Great Wolves team, the 2003-4 number 1 seed with KG and Spree and Cassell. And you got to look too at who has the easy games in April, like right when Cancun is beckoning and you are in tank mode. Who is going to have the easier path in those final games? I see the Wolves closing stretch. They got some tough ones. They got Suns, Lakers, Nuggets, Suns again, Wizards and Hawks mixed in, Raptors maybe. So it's kind of split down the middle. It's hard to know what other teams are going to do. But I look at what the Wolves have in front of them. They've got 10 games against sub-500 teams. Is it unrealistic to ask them to win 9? stub your toe one time, win the other 9, then you've got 14 against above 500 teams, playoff contenders. Those are the games that will make the difference, because 3 of those are against Denver. 2 of those are against the Clippers. 2 of those are against the Suns. Can you win 9 out of 14? That's pretty good. That gets you 18 wins, 59 total. That's a tall order, but I think you might have to do it in order to get that 1 seed, because of the Clippers, of the Nuggets, of the Thunder, you know that one of those teams is going to get red hot and they're going to put up a big total. So I think you need 59 or more for the Wolves to get that 1 seed. Jack?
Yeah, 60 is the number that I have in my mind. I mean, this season, first and foremost, is pretty nuts in that most seasons, any team that has a net rating north of +6 runs away with the number 1 seed. Like, we're talking 4, 5, 6 games up on the number 2 seed. This year, and in most years, there's maybe 1 team in either conference that's north of +6. This year, we have 3 teams. Boston is +10.4, which is historically insane. Oklahoma City is +8.4, which is also pretty historically insane. And then the Wolves are +6.9. So, you know, when you think about who the Wolves are going up against here in the Thunder, like, the Thunder are taking all these games seriously. They've been really healthy. They've taken full advantage of it. The biggest thing here, I think, for the Wolves is they have 3 more home games than the Thunder do down the stretch of the season. And I'm honestly not quite as concerned about the Thunder as I am about the Nuggets passing the Wolves, just because I think the Wolves still play the Nuggets 3 times. I think a couple of those games are back-to-backs. In Denver, I believe, has, going off of Positive Residual here, which is a great website, Denver has the second easiest schedule left of any team in the NBA. And that includes 14 home games, which is tied with the Wolves. And all their back-to-backs are pretty much done. So I think you could definitely see one of the 3 teams between Minnesota, Denver, Oklahoma City get really close in that 59-60 number to get the number 1 seed. I mean, if you throw out the COVID year, the average wins the last 5 seasons for the number 1 seed is 58.2. So Ron's got it right there. But it'll be really interesting. I think, you know, like you said, Sam, that the Wolves schedule gets really easy in the last, 5, 6, 7 games right before the end of the season. They had the 7-game homestand, then I think they go on the road for 5 or 6 or something like that. And then they've got 10 of their last 14 at home. And so for the Wolves, it's really just going to be about taking care of your business at home, you know, and just staying healthy as best you can. I know there's some things that you can't control. Obviously, you know, Karl missed last night for personal reasons due to a death of a friend. The Wolves are hoping that he'll be back tonight. So you'd hope that, you know, they can step up for each other and have each other's back if things like that pop up, and they did last night, which was great. So, but it'll be really fun. I think both the Thunder and the Wolves are really going to gun for it, knowing that I think they both need that emotional boost to get the number 1 seed, whereas the Nuggets already know what they are, right? They don't care if they're the 1, 2, 3, 4, that they're going to believe that they're going to beat everybody, as they should. And so I think you're just going to see the Wolves and the Thunder really gun for it, where I don't think the Nuggets necessarily are going to, you know, try to really exert themselves to get it, but just doing their own thing, being who they are, they very well could end up with the number 1 seed. So it'll be a really fun kind of subplot to watch down the stretch of the season.
Yeah, extremely. Yeah, it feels like it's those 4 as your home playoff seeds. I don't know if anybody's catching up to that pack, the way that they're all playing, but we'll find out. We got 24 games to go. One more pause, and then we're going to get into the beef on Saturday with Dennis Schroder, and then we'll predict the week ahead for the Wolves on the Minnesota Basketball Party. Presented today by eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and plenty more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number 1 ride, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. And with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. All the parts you need at the prices you want. It's easy to turn your car into the MVP. bring home that W. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit. Only available to U.S. customers. All right, let's backtrack to Saturday. Wolves beat the Nets 101-86. This was kind of a clunker. This was the second half of a back-to-back. The Wolves treaded water for 3 quarters, and then Anthony Edwards flipped a switch and turned it on in the fourth. Wolves ended up winning by 15. But the most compelling part of this game, I thought, was the final 22 seconds. And let's start with Ron on this. Mike Conley, as the shot clock is winding down, 22 seconds left, he takes a 3, because why not? The shot clock's running down. Dennis Schroder gets upset with this. He shoves Conley. McDaniels steps in. He shoves Schroder. They have a 10-minute review. It was all, and Ron, you like to use the word petty. This was petty. I mean, this was the pettiest beef I've ever seen. Can you in any way defend Dennis Schroder for this end of the game nonsense that we saw on Saturday?
Yeah, so one, I get this because it's like baseball has this too, unwritten rules and things you can't do because pitchers throw at batters then protect their guys. Next pitcher comes out, protects his team. Like, same thing. Don't throw a slider when it's supposed to be this, or don't try to hit a home run when I'm just trying to do this, or what? Stop this. If you don't want it to happen, stop me. Stop it. Also, maybe if a team gives up and they quit, we're done. Maybe the NBA should just end the game. Hey, if y'all, because AAU and high school, or not high school, I think high school plays it out, but U Sports, AAU, they just stop the game. Once a coach says, all right, we're done, they stop the game. Because one, the gym is every hour on the hour, there's games going. And two, they're what are we going to do? Stand here and let these kids dribble it out? Boom, we give up, you give up, let's shake hands, just blow the horn. Let's be done. The NBA might want to come up with that, because that last whatever minutes or seconds played or whatever, just give those accredited minutes to the guys on the floor and then let them walk off. Because the fact that people are doing this, there's multiple. This is not just the Timberwolves. I think the Pacers or somebody else just had the same issue with the Warriors, maybe, where similar happened. They went up to take, or no, I think it was Charlotte and the Warriors. Because it was the Grant Williams from the Celtics who's trying to be an enforcer, and Draymond Green watching his guy headbutt him like a proud mom, look at my baby over their headbutting like I would do. But when you think about this and the way the NBA plays it, it's just dumb. In the game, because players don't want, guys are literally not catching the ball when their teammate passes because I'm not gonna have it when the clock runs out, and you see guys move out the way and they're dude, that just gave me a turnover. That was part of my bonus. Just in the game. So that's one. Two, Dennis Schroder, you're an idiot. He's shooting a 3. You're already losing. Take the L. You made yourself look dumber. I don't know if that could happen, but he did. And you made yourself look dumber for doing it. Now, the ref standing there watching it, you're wrong. Call the foul right away. Separate them. It's a whatever. It could be a flagrant or common foul, whatever. Just give the ball back to the Timberwolves. They pass it in. Horn blows. Move off. The text and all that stuff, unless it's Draymond Green and it's going to push them out the playoff, that's his 16th one or something that's going to get him 5 games or whatever that rule is. I get that, but neither of these guys are whatever, multiple offenders. It's just dumb. The NBA is dumb. That's dumb. But Mike Conley had every right to be pissed off. Bro, don't hit me, because he could have really hurt him if, one, Mike Conley was super relaxed and just took it and fell, or landed and twisted his ankle wrong, or took an elbow to the chest and now he's got internal bleeding, as if Charlie Murphy got punched by Rick James or something. There's a lot to this. Or not Rick James. It was Prince. No, it was Rick James. It was Rick James, because Rick James got his legs beat up after that by Eddie Murphy and Charlie Murphy. But when you think about that, that's the whole point of this. Don't do it. He shot the 3. Be mad about it. He made it too. Splash City. But it's dumb. But Mike Conley definitely had a beef. The other team, you have no beef. The NBA is the problem.
I love that rant. That was great. Jack.
Yeah, this is the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen. At the end of a game, Mike Conley has won 4 NBA sportsmanship awards in his career. He has never received a technical foul that stuck. He got 1 tech that was correctly rescinded. My whole thing is just don't start something, won't be nothing, right? if you don't want Mike Conley to hit a three, play defense so Mike Conley can't shoot and make a three. I think unwritten rules are the dumbest thing on planet Earth. I think anybody that's complaining about unwritten rules needs to just go look in the mirror and like tell themselves that they need to just change as a person. Because they're the dumbest thing ever. If they were supposed to be rules, they'd be written rules, but they're not. Who cares? Play until the final whistle. You don't want to have someone run up the score, then don't let them run up the score. Play defense. I don't know. I mean, oh man, just so dumb. To go at Mike Conley of anybody with Jaden McDaniels standing right there. Like we've seen what Jaden McDaniels has done to other dudes to get under their skin. Shout out Klay Thompson. But I mean, just ridiculous. Just take your L and go home, Dennis Schroder. You're playing an embarrassment of a team that lost again by like 30 points last night. Talk about a dude that should already be in Cabo is Dennis Schroder and every other guy in the Nets.
Schroder was a -16 in the game, a team worst for the record. 4 of 14 from the field. Reg?
Man, just play the violin on everything Jack just said. Like, I am all in on what he said, what Ron said. Like, it's dumb. Like, it's the same thing that I do on Twitter with these unwritten rules of baseball. Oh my gosh, they drive me crazy. They drive me absolutely bonkers because it's just like, yo, like, what? Who cares? A guy pimps a home run. I saw a dude last night on Twitter, like, I love the fact that he hit this home run and he didn't pimp it. He just put the bat down and took his bases. I'm like, come on, man. Like, that's the reason why people don't care about baseball. Like, there's no entertainment factor in that. Like, the shot clock is winding down. What do you want him to do? Give the ball to the ref and walk back down? Like, Mike Conley's even confused. Like, what you mad at me for? Like, what's going on? Like, and then do we remember just a few years ago, few short years ago, when the Lakers beat the Wolves in that play-in game, and Schroder pimped the 3-pointer with the D-Lo, celebration with the ice in his veins. Like, he went all the way down the court doing that. And it's just like, come on, man, you can't like do that on one end and then get mad at Conley for hitting a three when the shot clock is winding down. It's just like, come on, man, don't be a hypocrite. Like, he's lucky to even still be in the league right now, honestly, just with the career that he's had. Like, I won't even go there. That's borderline disrespectful. But, like, just take your L and go home after the loss. Like, the Nets are not good. The Wolves are good. Just, it's so dumb. Imagine getting into it with Mike Conley of all people. How do you get into it with Mike Conley? I think a part of that was Mike Conley even being confused. Like, wait, what? I'm the most like easy to get along with guy ever. What? He got a problem with me? It was the dumbest thing.
Yeah. Ironically, in that play-in game you're talking about, Reg, it was Conley who came back down after that Schroder three and got fouled on a three to send the game to overtime, which is kind of an interesting coincidence. But we all agree Dennis Schroder extremely stupid, and now we predict the week ahead for the Wolves.
Wait, Sam, so real quick before we predict the week, though, you're saying Dennis Schroder hit the three. I forgot about that. So Schroder hit a three, then Mike Conley got fouled by Schroder?
Then was it Schroder who fouled him? Conley came down on the other end and got fouled on a three to tie the game, and I think it was Schroder that fouled him. Jack's nodding his head.
And they were mad. LeBron was mad because they were like, dang, we had the game. Why did you do that? Yeah, it's all coming back to me now.
Yeah, so maybe Schroder just hates Mike Conley. Maybe he thought Mike Conley was trolling him by hitting another three in his face. Who knows?
I hope he was.
He was
Mike
triggered.
Conley.
He was
triggered. Wait, was it Schroder or was it Anthony Davis? I feel like
it was AD. It was AD.
Yeah, it was Anthony Davis. Yeah,
but Schroder still Schroder's just triggered anytime he sees Mike Conley shoot a late three. That's what it is.
Yeah,
He
it
just
was
had
it was AD
flashbacks.
because I remember the post game press conference when Brown was giving him a hard time. Like, dang, we had that game won, Ant, and you just decided to do that stupid foul like that after Schroder hit the three and had the ice in his veins. Anyway, I was screaming at the TV at the time, though. I thought it was.
Oh yeah, I
thought it was.
sometimes
thought
I
it was
forget,
cool.
Reggie, where your loyalties
The
lie.
Lakers play, yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of cool.
You loved Dennis Schroder in that moment. You were
In that
you were
moment, yes,
Schroder,
but he
you were
makes
chanting his name.
people mad though because he's so inconsistent as a player.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's predict the week. Wolves have Grizzlies tonight, Kings Friday, Clippers Sunday, and then Blazers either Monday or Tuesday. So 4 games. Jack Borman, predict the week.
Yeah, I think they're going to go 3-1. I still think they're going to continue to struggle with the Kings. The Kings have played really well against teams that have size. They've absolutely destroyed the Denver Nuggets in the over the course of the last 2 games they've played. They've allowed 98 and 106 points to the Nuggets in those 2 games, which is pretty impressive. De'Aaron Fox has been incredible. Malik Monk's been great. And Sabonis just keeps racking up triple doubles and has been really physical inside and has given Rudy Gobert some problems. So, I think the Wolves are going to win the other 3 games outside of that. Memphis missing Ja, Smart, Bane, Luke Kennard, and John Conchar tonight. And then we've all seen what the Clippers matchup has been, right? I think that the Wolves have proven that they're better at playing big against the Clippers than the Clippers are at spreading the Timberwolves out successfully. Obviously, there could be some 3-point shooting progression to the mean for the Clippers in that game, but I feel pretty confident in saying 3-1.
Reg.
I also agree 3-1, but I actually think, Jack, that they actually get over the Kings, but lose to the Clippers this time around. So we'll see if either one of us are true in that one. But I believe that they can go 3-1, but maybe they surprise us and go 4-0.
Ron?
I too am going to go 3-1. I don't know if it's going to be the Kings or who, but I'm going to go 3-1. I just feel like last time I went 4-0 or 3-0 and they went 2-1. So now if I go 3-1, they'll go 4-0. So I'm just playing the odds. I'm going to go 3-1. I do think they're a solid team. I didn't realize Cat's personal reasons. I thought it was low management. I didn't realize he had a death in the family. So definitely prayers out to that. And I know how tough that can be when you lose a family friend. So hopefully, once he's back, he's mentally back, because if he's not ready, I'd say just, come back when you're ready. And with that said, I think the team understands that a lot of times there's little motivations that can help the team play better. And I think them knowing Cat, what he's going through, is probably another reason for them to say, let's keep this together. Let's keep this ship going the right way. And so, I think 3-1.
I'll be the lone wolf. I'll go 4-0. I think that Anthony Edwards is in the zone right now. We're seeing him every game. He's having a quarter where he is the best player on the planet. And I think if he can continue that, I think that's going to carry the Wolves to a 4-0 week. And I will be back to brag about my correct guess next week on the Minnesota basketball party with Jack Borman.
Spike Lee. Spike Lee said it best. It's the shoes.
You didn't nail the dismount, Sam. You said your guess. You should have said your confident pick.
My confident, I'll put my money where my mouth is over at FanDuel, and I will I'll turn it into my financial gain. How about that? That's next week in the Minnesota basketball party. Thanks to everybody who watched, who listened, and who joins us every week. The everydayers, we appreciate you here on Locked On Sports Minnesota. Ron Johnson Show on Tuesdays, Minnesota football party on Mondays and Thursdays. See you next week.